beautiful. How's it going? Welcome to Trapped in the South. Today is Movie Monday, and today's movie is Brad's Status. So this is a newer movie, which is not normally my thing. Me and JMN sat down and watched the movie the other night, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk about this on YouTube later. Like, why not? So, I got stats, so let's hit that first. So, Brad's Status. It was directed and written by Mike White, produced by Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Cleed, and Sydney Kimmel, and David Bernard. Stars Ben Stiller, Austin Abrams, Jenna Fisher, Luke Wilson, Jermaine Clement, and Michael Sheen. Let's see, it was released in September of 2017 for Amazon, and it grossed $3.8 million. It doesn't tell me how much it cost to make it though, which kind of sucks, and it is 101 minutes. So like I said, we were scrolling through Amazon Prime trying to find something to watch, and he stumbled upon this. I let him pick. And this movie honestly was very, very sad. Like, after I watched it, I was like deep in my feelings later that night. Like, I remember getting ready for bed, and when my head hit the pillow, like, I was praying about like some of the stuff that happened in this movie for that not to be over my life. So basically, it's about a guy who's probably around in his like mid 40s, I would imagine, and he basically wakes up one day and is talking to his wife about like money and making sure that they have enough for their kid and send their kid to college, and that kind of morphs into like a little morbid situation talking about her parents. And the next day, it seems like him and his son Troy go off to Boston to interview for some colleges. And the dad, who's Ben Stiller, wants to like impress the kid. Like, he's like, man, we're spending some time together. It seems like that was not their norm. And I'm gonna, get to know my kid a little bit better, and I want to make this the best experience possible, even though we are kind of like limited a little on funds. And so they get to the airport, and he tells his son, I'm going to upgrade us to business class because you deserve it. And he goes to the ticket counter, and he realizes that it's a lot of money. It's like $800 per ticket to upgrade. And so he's like, you know what? I'm still going to make this happen. And then the flight stewardess is basically like, oh, I'm sorry, because these are discounted tickets, we cannot upgrade you to business class. And he gets a little, flustered by that, because now he has to go tell his kid that like, hey, I can't make this happen for you, unfortunately. And so they get to Boston, and he, like I said, he's interviewing a couple of colleges, and they're having a conversation over dinner, and he realizes that like his son really has a good chance of getting into this school. And for him, as a high school student going into college, like, he had his eyes set on Yale, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And so he kind of settled for this school called Tufts. And through the conversation with his son, he realizes that like he has a great chance of being in this school, and like what that means for him. And he kind of goes in his mind of like the scenarios of what that means. He kind of like pictures his son through various degree programs, and how those things pan out for them, like the good and the bad with that. And he also sees like how him and his wife feel about what that makes it look like for them, like bragging on the fact that they have a son that goes to Harvard, or their only child like financially benefiting from him, or all of these different scenarios. And then it kind of gets deeper into some of his friendships. He starts verbalizing how he feels like he should be in certain circles, and the friend group that he had been in for forever, who he was a vital part of it, of keeping it together, how basically they are all off being very kind of like all off and like having very rich lives, and he is kind of forgotten about, and he kind of has this recollection of like, man, like nobody from this group talks to me. Like, why is that? Why am I the only person that's not like uber rich? And so you see him haggle with that throughout the movie, up until the point where he has to call a couple of them to kind of help get his son another interview, because his son got the interview dates wrong. And so through that, he has a conversation with a friend, an ex-friend, and he's just like, I don't really know why you're talking to me like this. Like, basically, he felt like his friend was speaking to him like he was beneath him. And his friend was kind of just like, who are you? Like, why would I compete with you? Like, without being rude and saying, like, you're not on my level. Like, why would I? And he realizes that, and he becomes very flustered, so much so that he leaves the space that they are in. And which seems like, you know, a little bit of, he seems like an aloof a little bit. And so it kind of goes into another situation with another friend and him understanding and talking. And then cut to his son allows him to meet one of his friends that goes to Harvard that he was in the orchestra with. And him and her, I think her name was, I'm going to call her A because I'm going to mess up her name. But she listens to him, and at the end of it, I mean, it's hours of conversation of them in this bar, which honestly looked a little inappropriate if you ask me. She's just like, you just have basically a privilege problem. Like, the world doesn't owe you anything. Like, do you not know that there are legit people starving? Like, people live on like $1 a day. Like, I don't feel bad for you that you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like, the world does not owe you that. And so he is once again flustered from that conversation. He's just like, you just don't understand. Like, I'm one of the good guys. Like, I legit for work, I work for a nonprofit. Like, I own a nonprofit to help other people get the needs, the things that they need. And he admires like her, not only her youngness and her beauty, but like her fresh look on life, like her excitement to change the world around her. And I think it's another one of those things where he's comparing himself, like, I am equally as good. Like, I am equally doing the same things that you are wanting to do. Like, see me at a higher esteem than what you're seeing me as. And so the movie actually kind of ends, and he realizes that he's really just thankful to be alive. Like, all of these things that he's talking about does not matter. Like, he has a loving wife, he has a intelligent and present, we'll just say that, son, and he realizes that like he's not settling. He does have a good life, and that good life has come with a lot less dollars. However, it has come with just so much fulfillment and so much of things that he avoided, and I think he feels really grateful for it. Now, the reason why I felt so icky about it is because of him and the relationship with his son. And as a parent, like, I pray that my interactions with my girls don't look like that. Like, the way that they spoke to one another, like even the son cussing at the father, like in normal day-to-day conversation, and just like how the dad was flying off the handle. It's like a very important situation, like at Harvard. And the kid was just like, you're basically upsetting me. Can you please not upset me while I'm about to go on my college tour? Like, this is really important to me. And the dad, of course, was very panicked and upset to the fact that he got his interview date wrong, so much so that he went to the admin staff trying to get them to like reschedule, and he kind of like made a fool of himself a little bit. But I say all that to say that I pray that my relationship with my girls is not like that. Like, I want us to have genuine relationships with each other. Like, I also want there to still be a line of respect. Like, you're not cussing at me. Like, we're not having forceful conversations. You know what I mean? Like, the tone was definitely off, but just as a parent, still being able to know my kid. And I want to know that Harvard is her first pick, and she's really intelligent, and they're really intelligent, and they could get in this school with no worries. You know, I want to know who their friends are. I want to know who their favorite musician is or composer is, and why do they feel that they deserve to be that number one favorite spot. Like, I think a lot of parents, or just a lot of people in general, like, they see money as being the end all be all, right? So, like, as long as you have money, you can get whatever you want, and things will be better, and we will be happier. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like money is not definitely helpful, because it is. But also, relationships with other people is important. Cultivating relationships is important. Apologizing when you are wrong. The relationships in this movie is what left me feeling icky at the end of it. I think another important moment is just, or situation, is being self-aware. Being self-aware that, like, yeah, you might not be neck and neck with your peers, but that doesn't mean that they still can't be your peers. They still can't be your friends. Like, y'all don't have to be neck and neck to be important to one another. And I hope that's something that I instill, and I am setting by an example for my kids. At the end of the day, I get it. All of us parents want our kids to be great. We want them to be better than what we were. And sometimes that looks like us being hard on them. Sometimes that looks like us advocating for them, and sometimes in a peculiar way, because we are so invested, and some of us are relying on them to make it so that we can put ourselves or get put in better positions. And so, of course, the flip side, or another element of that, is wanting to do good for the world, but also wanting to be able to be compensated for that, and also make a living off of that. Especially without burning bridges. And I think that's what Brad, Ben Stiller's character, found himself doing, is that, you know, he is asking money from all of these people. He wants to take, to give. However, that is changing the trajectory of his relationships in most situations. I mean, that's really it. So, if you guys have seen Brad's Status, let me know in the comments still below. What do you think about this movie? Do you think about just, like, the guilt as parents that, like, we have? Do you, I don't know, think about your kids' future and how y'all's relationship will play a role in, like, their present development? Ooh. Have a great day. Bye.